So our next stream of income can be becoming a wedding officiant. Now, in some states, you can be a notary. You could be a wedding officiant with just your notary commission. Okay. But other states, you have to actually have like a clerical or like from the clergy certification. And most people just go through the New Life Church or whatever. This is an online church. They'll ordain you in like 10 minutes or something. And then you can start doing wedding officiant, okay? And you can actually perform weddings. Marcel, you all know, we talk about her all the time. She actually was doing them in her garage, like a drive-by wedding. The girl knew how to get the money, okay? She knows how to get it. So that's another form of income, though. So wedding officiant. Now, I don't do wedding officiant. Angela doesn't do it, and Alexis do it. I just don't do it. Does not do it either. But several of our students have started doing it, and they're actually doing very well at it. So it's something else you can do. And in some of these things, I know a lot of us are shy, right? But we got to get over that shyness. That's a whole nother video. I need to write that down. That's a whole nother topic, because it's going to cost, you're going to have to get out there and get your money. I'm not special. I don't have any superhuman powers, nor does anyone else that do their own business. But doing your own business is not always easy. You have to put work into it. You have to be a people person. And that's a topic for another day, because I know we got more people, I think, are introverts than extroverts. I really believe that, because, again, I'm just naturally prone to speak to people. I'm not too afraid or too shy to speak to most people. I can get with the best of them no matter what circumstance. If they got a lot of money, no money, you know what I mean? But that's just not everybody's thing. So some of this, doing your own business, we need to talk about those kind of skills. Okay. The next one I have, though, that you can make money, another stream, is proctoring. Okay. Proctoring, I have a whole video on this. It actually did very well. You do not have to even be a notary for some of these services, but because you're a notary, you will get these phone calls. So the next one is proctoring, okay? A proctoring is when you sit and you watch somebody proctor. You sit and watch someone take a test. So the cases that I've had normally are for real estate agents. They have to take a test, and instead of them going to the location, having somebody at that facility watch them, they'll just hire a notary. So watch my video on proctoring, okay? The next one I have is facilitating apostilles. So I get a lot of calls, and Angela does too. My state said I can't do apostilles. Your state would be correct. You do not process the apostille yourself. The state actually puts their stamp on the document. You may notarize the document as a notary, but the actual apostille comes from the state. So if your state says you can't be an apostille, or you don't do apostilles, that they would be correct. You need to know the verbiage. You need to understand the process, right? I always say you got to know how to play the game. And in this case, me ain't playing no game. You're actually just a facilitator. The client will bring you a document. It may or may not already be notarized. Then you will take the document to the Secretary of State, and you're going to charge the client a fee for doing that. Now, you may say, and I've been asked this, why would a client pay you for that when they could just do it themselves? Well, they could do it themselves, right? But they don't want to. It's a lot involved sometimes. They don't want to read the paperwork. They don't know how. They don't have time. They're paying you for convenience, okay? Hello, everyone. Because my list is long, I'm going to keep going, okay? Our next one we have is apostille courier. Apostille courier only. So you may say, Kimmi, I don't feel like doing apostilles. I ain't doing all that, because that's how I felt initially before I actually start processing them. But you can also just serve as a courier. So you might live near the Secretary of State. And the most common one I get, I think, would be Florida, and New York. You may not live in New York, but your apostille is being processed in New York. And you live near the Secretary of State. And I'm in Georgia, and I may call you and say, hey, Joe, can you take this apostille to New York Secretary of State for me? You know, you can make a whole living at that. Some notaries in your own state may not feel like driving to the Secretary of State, so they'll reach out to you and say, hey, can you facilitate this? So you can just be an apostille courier only. You don't have to process it. You just take it down there on behalf of another notary normally. And I have seen it too, where a client will reach out and say, hey, I had this happen. The client was in South Carolina. They need to get the document. Well, they had to drive here actually. So that's not a good example. Yeah, let's skip that one. That's not a good example because some clients will drive to the next state over if their state is closed to get something apostille. That's a whole nother story. Okay, let's move on. Ink fingerprinting. If you are, Angela does teach the apostille training over here at Notary Educators, and she has a self-paced course. Both are very good. Next, we have the ink fingerprinting. If you are not doing ink fingerprinting, you can do that in all the states. Now, it gets a little tricky when you want to do live scan because it's a whole lot more. So I do not do live scan, but I do ink fingerprinting. All of these services I'm listing should be on your Google My Business page, okay? You should be able to list all if you do them. If you don't know how to do them, you might need to reach out for some training. So I do have an ink fingerprinting course that will teach you how to do ink fingerprinting. I do have 2 or 3 videos on my channel that talk all about ink fingerprinting, okay? So ink fingerprinting, no, I don't even roll the client. The client rolls themselves. I teach you how to teach the client how to roll the print themselves because with COVID, you don't want to be touching everybody's hand, everybody breathing in your face. So I teach you how to roll a good print, because the print ain't good. If the print is not good, they cannot use it. Okay. So I teach you how to roll right from the self-paced course. It's amazing what we can do over here. So that's another form of income though, ink fingerprinting. The next one is I-9. Okay. I didn't number these. I should have, but I know it's 19. The next one is the I-9 form. Now, everybody can complete the I-9 form except the state of California. In order to do it in California, you must be an immigration specialist, okay? You must be an immigration specialist and have special bonding and everything. You cannot just complete that form. But for everybody else, what happens is an employer will give their employee new hire a form, and they'll say, hey, you need to take this to a notary. They're going to call you, and you're going to say, most notaries will tell the person, I can't notarize the I-9 because that is the instructions. You cannot put your notary stamp on the I-9 form. It's an immigration form. Okay. So you cannot put your notary stamp on there. But if you already know what to do, like we teach you, and I'm telling you right now, you can watch my videos too, plus get the course, you know how to process it. Okay. So when the client calls you, you'll be able to do it. So check out my I-9 videos, which are free on YouTube. And then I actually have the I-9 course. Everything is over at notaryeducatorsllc.com. The next service we have is printing services. You have all this fancy equipment. No one's calling you maybe for a loan signing. On your Google page, you should have printing services. We talked about this the other day. Basic printing services. I usually like to put the word basic so they know I'm not Office Depot. But I would put like basic services, and then you could charge based on 1 page to 5 pages, 5 pages to 10 pages, or however you want to charge that. Now, I had put it like on Google, you have an option to put printing something as an actual subcategory. I took that off because I didn't want people coming by to get one document printed. I don't have time for that. Not just one document for $2 or $5 or whatever. So, but printing services, if your client, and it could be anybody actually, they may see your printing services on your Google page and they say, hey, I have to get something printed. And then you'll just charge them whatever you want to charge them. Okay. So printing services is another stream of income. All of these little things add up. All of these little things. The next one is inspections. That could be field inspections, home inspections. Now, when we talk about home inspection, we're not talking about the kind that you have to have a license and degree and all that, or some schooling. Not that kind. We're talking about just a regular inspection company will say, hey, I need a few pictures of the outside of the house, a few pictures of the inside. Not the kind of inspection where you have to check the hot water tank and check and see if they got termites. Not that kind of inspection, okay? Inspections also would be cars. It could car inspections. All of this falls under the same umbrella. They also have business inspections. So I have a video on that, what that looks like. And I talk about it in the specialty general notary course too. All these different things. Most of these I talk about in the specialty general notary course, because you will need a few little things for inspections, maybe depending on what kind you're doing. You might need a ruler. You might need some pencils, some paper, just depending on what you're doing. But inspections is another one, okay? If you guys come up with something, throw it in the chat if I'm missing something that you actually are doing and I'm not doing it, okay? And then I'll get these questions in a moment.